Hello, everybody. We are live. It's actually been a while since I've been live. So, those of you who are watching my broadcast live, I'm back after about 4 months of just doing regular videos. So, I thought this was a great treat to come back. Welcome to Robert Bellissimo at the Movies. If this is your first time here, my channel explores the many different ways in which stories are told on film, as well as interview various people who work in film and television and theater, from actors, writers, directors, screenwriters, and so on and so forth. And very special guests today. We have two sisters who make art. Let's say who made a web series called Managed, which I saw the pilot episode, which I really enjoyed. Janaé Rachel Ballot and Savannah Ballot. So Janae, welcome back, because I know you were on about a month ago. For anyone who's watching, probably saw that. And Savannah, welcome.
Hi. Thanks you for having me.
My pleasure. My pleasure. I was curious early on, because I know we talked a lot about your early life, Janae, and that you had mentioned that you and your sister were both child actors. What originally got you interested in going into acting from being a child, Savannah? Like, can you remember what sort of piqued your interest?
Oh man. Well, as a child, I was singing and dancing in front of the TV at like 2 or 3 years old. So my parents initially thought, oh, she wants to be a dancer. So I was put into dance every day until I was a competitive dancer, and I was a ballerina. I was jazz, tap, lyrical, and every day I would eat, breathe, sleep, dance. We even had the key to our dance studio, so I can go there at night and rehearse. We even moved to the studio's parking lot area, like the building next to the actual studio, because we were that invested in dancing. And whenever I got the chance, I would just kind of lean towards acting. If it was dancing, but with like a kind of skit or something, like I did Nothing, a chorus line. And it was funny how it completely differs from a very like a ballet rehearsed dance compared to like dance where I can put attitude and flair and mouth the words and have this whole like show. So that's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to put on a show, really.
Right.
And we got the chance to move to LA. My parents did, and they said, okay, well, you're kind of like you're showing signs that you really want to act. If you had the chance to move to LA and actually really do this, would you give up dancing? Would you give up your life here, your school, your friends, everything? And we lived up north in Scotts Valley, Santa Cruz County, and it's a small town. So everyone knows everyone. And to move to LA is like, it's kind of unheard of. So immediately, though, I said yes, and we moved to the. Guess it. We moved.
Starts with an H.
Where's no?
Yeah.
That's actually the perfect word for it.
Yeah. Hollywood.
No. Well, yes, in Hollywood, but yeah. But the apartment complex that every young actor really starts out at. If you can get this, I mean.
I gotta jump. It's just
from all over the nation.
I gotta jump in here, Savannah. I don't know.
Is that not just going, like, as we hear, they go off to Hollywood or go off to Los Angeles? Is there some kind of stopover first?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's like a little rest stop for people too.
It's like especially during pilot season. Yes.
Atlanta?
The Oakwood Apartments. They even has a what is the it's a documentary. The documentary was made about the Oakwood Apartments, actually. Yeah. Oakwood Apartments, where I kind of everyone kind of
a compound to breed more child actors. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
you literally have a sign.
You have everything there, so you don't have to leave.
Exactly. They have a sign that says "Smile for the camera when you leave gate." Like that's how that's how diverse it is. But yeah, no, I started out there with like Hillary Duff and
oh wow,
like that, and Amanda Bynes, different kids, Disney, Nickelodeon, and that's where I kind of started out. Got into an improv group, and I just kind of kept going, and I loved it. I loved the rush of it. I even loved audition, which is crazy to say. But
how were your parents able to pick up and just move? Like, were there jobs? Did they have jobs which enabled them to like be loose and move around? I imagine.
Yeah. Well, my dad's he's an MAI real estate appraiser, so he's like one of the top appraisers of his league, and he anywhere he can anywhere.
I always say too that no one moves to LA unintentionally. So
right.
Some people when they move to LA, they have their financial woes, and we were very blessed that we did not, and very supported. But I mean, it's unintentionally. So we were very intentional in how to keep ourselves afloat. And not even just that, but to actually start a new life. Like she was talking about, like, are you willing to give up your friends? Are you willing to give up all of this stuff? They really did create a new chapter in our lives.
That's quite something, because I know your mother was in the arts as well. So was she? I could see that she would be a little more interested in that. So that's, was she helpful in that decision, or was it the two of them together on that?
No, my mom was she was unstoppable. Like my sister reminds me so much of my mom, because it's oh gosh, I have example. Okay, let's I met President Clinton when I was like 8 years old. I was 6 years old, 7, whatever. First grade, I remember. And my mom was the kind of person that she radiated I don't know. It was like she had the spark. She had the it factor. She had the X factor. And you just felt comfortable in her presence. So I was in a pageant at the time, because I did grow up as a pageant girl too. And you had to give like a little kind of a yearbook of what you done that whole year. And a lot of the contestants had pictures with their mayor, their city's mayor, town's mayor. And my mom's like, no, you're going to get the president. And that's like, that's how her thinking, her mind, that's how it was. It wasn't, no, we're not going to get the mayor. We're going to get the president.
It's go big or go home, when she always said. Yeah.
So how did she make that happen? How did she get that to happen?
It's the thing. I was actually talking about this with a friend not too long ago, and it was like, she just walked right past all the Secret Service, just walked right past them, and everyone just was like, yeah, you can go. Yeah, you're good. Like, it was just accepted. She was just accepted. She got me to the front of, he was in San Jose, and gosh, what was it for? It was for one of his...
Wasn't he running again? And
yeah,
he was running again.
And he stopped, and he said, she got me right in the front to meet him, and he stopped, and he had like this 4-minute conversation with me, and I was just there's like pictures taken of holding hands and like stroking my forehead, which is kind of weird, but it was a little weird. The whole thing, he's like, what did he say? He said something about your name's Savannah, my wife. Oh no, he said I wanted to name Chelsea Savannah, but my wife wanted Chelsea or wanted Hillary. My wife wanted Hillary.
That's a pretty good. That's a pretty good Clinton, actually.
But at the time, I was like, if I ever tell this story, no one will believe me that you just said that. It was just so, what? But yeah, that's how she was. She was like, you know what, we need to get this done. Let's get it done. And people just accepted it. And Janae's first screening that Janae and I were invited by just a friend just to go hang out at a screening. It was what was it?
Are you talking about Gwyneth?
Hesher. Oh, it was Gwyneth. But both of them. Janae just like, I don't know.
Well, let's actually talk about Devin. Devin Brochu, he stars in as Albert Harrison managed, a child actor.
Right.
Yeah. How I met him and Savannah met him was at a screening of Hesher. So
was that because I know he did something with Natalie Portman, right? Is that the movie you're referring to? Okay.
Natalie Portman film that she produced with Banner and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. But
yeah, that's right. That's right.
So yeah, you were saying, Savannah, we went to that screening. And
we went to one of your first screenings, and our mom passed away when Janae was young, and I was young too. And so the movie is really about grief, and it's about a boy whose mom passed away.
Right.
And just going through the grieving process and not going through the grieving process. And this guy, Hesher, comes into this boy's life, kind of like a guardian angel. And Janae just stands up in the Q&A when the director's there and the little Devin's there. And Janae just stands up and she's like, we all need a fucking Hesher. And we all need a guardian angel. Sometimes we just get so mad, we just want to fucking scream. And like everyone's just screaming with her.
Oh my God.
Just, what are you doing at first? I realized shortly that it was like she has this like just quality to her, and it's electric. I'm not just saying that because she's my sister, but
it's also I gotta say something. I got
comes out of it.
Was
I herself. So,
oops.
But she did meet Devin. She phone number. And years later, she did a movie with him. So, hey.
There you go.
Herself.
But you didn't quite care for the acting, though, Janae, right? The acting and dance when you were a kid. I remember when we spoke.
I didn't care for my heart was not in the acting. It was not. First off, I'm going to just push back a little bit on Savannah here and what she said about me, because I remember going to a screening with Savannah, and it was Gwyneth. Oh, wait, I'm back. It was with Gwyneth Paltrow. It was Country Strong, and like Savannah was the one who told me while we're sitting there and there's a Q&A happening, and she leans in and she says, "Hey, sing duets. Get up and sing duets with Gwyneth. Like, just ask her to sing duets or sing the song from Duets." And I was like, "You kidding? Are you kidding? No, I'm not going to do something like that. I can't. There's so many SAG after members here. I can't." But there
was a question. Someone asked her a question that said, have you ever sang in another, or this is your first time singing in film?
Yeah.
And
Savannah, she changed it up. Like, she rewrote the script. It's really just a matter of that, though. Savannah really does change it up. She rewrites the script. She's like, how can we push a little bit further for the sake of the audience? And that's something that I've always heard from her ever since I was, smaller than this computer screen. And it's so I did, because it's my big sissy. And so I did stand up and I said, what is it, Savannah? And she even said the lyrics in my ear. She's like, it's this and this and this, and rolling together. And then Gwyneth, she's tried singing and she's like, I'm not drunk enough for this. I'm not. And so it's these that it sounds fun and stuff like that, but mainly when I was acting.
It was fun.
It is fun. It's very fun. But
then we went into networking, and then we got like ambitions and goals that it kind of fell into, I guess.
Like, yeah, and it's the acting though. When I was acting, Savannah, like I honestly was always seeing you idolize your family members. You look up to them, especially as a baby of the family. And if you live in like a loving, you know, safe family where you're able to express yourself creatively, it's amazing to be able to see the internal mechanisms be expressed creatively, and you kind of become closer to your family in that respect. So I was acting and going on auditions, but that didn't, and I was mainly like loving from afar, appreciating from afar, while hiding under like a dining table for an audition for I Am Sam, and going,
oh wow,
I'm not going to that audition. I'm not going because look how much dialogue there is to remember. And my dad and Savannah,
was it the Dakota Fanning part?
Dakota, yeah.
Oh wow.
And my dad and Savannah were like, you don't have to memorize all of it though. And I'm under the table like, no, I'm not doing it. I can't. And it's like, it's moments like that where, you know, Savannah would try to coax me out or go like, it's okay. Like, this is just what you do, X, Y, and Z. And that stayed with me. It just took a long freaking time. For all the right reasons. It took the wrong, like, you know, for me to be able to go, okay, let's do X, Y, and Z.
What was the right career too? It was the right occupation too.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Yeah. You just, and I was able to learn a lot more about like, what do actors need as opposed to, I gotta be in front of the camera. That's not my place.
Right. So, you know, hearing about, you know, the two of you on some of these Hollywood adventures and and helping each other out with auditions, and like, you know, when you come to then make a web series, is it just kind of like another form of play, like kids playing, or was there an added anxiety, pressures, you know, oh God, I don't want to let Janaé down because she's the writer director, or how am I going to direct my sister, stuff like that? Like, what was that transition like from, you know, being sisters basically and going into making this pilot?
No. I think we did start at
we already had some practice on that.
Yes.
You want to go ahead? You want to start that? You want to start?
Janaé? We did have some practice. So we had some practice working together beforehand.
Was this the film you almost did, like in your late teens, or you started that you mentioned to me? Okay.
The one that we never talk about. But the one that should never be mentioned.
Every filmmaker's first film is that's what, you know, like, oh, it's somewhere in a storage. Yeah.
That you learn from and learn hard lessons.
I'm really, really happy that I went through that traumatic process, because if I didn't, I don't think I wouldn't have known Janaé's tick. I wouldn't have known Janaé so inside and out. Like, she can give me an eye arch, like an eyebrow arch, and be like, oh, you want me to change the line? Okay, you want me to change? Okay. I know exactly.
This is when I was 17. So this is when I was 16, 17. And I came to Savannah and I said, I wrote something and I want you to be in it. And we did it together. And we were like,
that was something that I always said, like, if we work together, I auditioned for the role. And if I don't fit the role, then, because she wanted in the beginning, you know, you want to give the part to your sister, especially if she's in the business and she's an actress. But I told her, and I kind of instilled this rule for us, that Janaé, it's not about like trying to get me a part in your film. If I get that role and you give it to me anyway, I don't do the film justice. Your film goes nowhere. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm a good actress. It doesn't matter if you want me in it. It doesn't matter, because ultimately, what's best for the movie, it's what's best for the film, and that's how I like, that's how we really kind of.
That was our verbal agreement.
So you even for Managed, you saw other actresses, Janaé, for that part?
I didn't see other actresses, but I did think of like our verbal agreement. And
Okay.
because we although like there's stuff that Savannah has done with different directors, and I felt like a pang of jealousy. I do know that verbal agreement is a part of our foundation. So
that let me just say, Managed does stem from another script she wrote that I did audition for, and she took that character and made it out into a web series. So I did.
This is the one that we talked about, Janaé, the one like 10 years prior?
No, she's saying with Managed, that was a script that I pulled from a feature. I had this feature that like it was horrible, but I reread it and I said, okay, it's actually a story.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And I can lift that, I can rewrite it, shape and mold it, and I can turn it into a pilot. And that is actually the feature in itself that was poorly written and that brought on Managed was the one that Savannah did audition for, the feature in itself.
Okay.
So she's saying like there's definite times where she has auditioned, she has sat down, she has had to memorize lines, do the scene work, and it's just between us two, to where it's like, yeah, what is best for the story? What's best? Let's take our egos out of it again. And with Managed, it was more of like, well, I would be writing a draft and then I would be handing it over to her. And
it was a project we both worked on. And it was a lot of my idea too, to actually take that.
Okay, I see.
From the other.
Yeah.
It was a massive collaboration. Whereas like, years ago, that short film that, the one we do not speak of, that one, I was a pretentious little prick of a kid. I was the one prancing around like, hey, Savannah, just do what Jenna Rollins did in A Woman Under Influence. You don't talk to actors that way. You don't talk to actors like that. But a lot of filmmakers today still do.
Oh, yeah.
It was so method. Never mind. It was just very method. I got to know my on-screen husband in the film very well. It was very method. Let's just say that.
Yeah, it was very much taking the approach of let's live and breathe in all of this so we can become butterflies from it. It's like nonsense. It's complete nonsense. You don't have to be so you don't have to be so deep in all of this stuff in order to make it good.
Yeah.
What is it's interesting that you both developed this story together, Managed, that is how for me, what I took from it is very much that that people don't value themselves or value who they are, and it's the social media is basically what's validating these people, and the stardom and Twitter followers, and it's quite relevant. But what is the value you want people to take away from this?
Know your worth. I actually.
That's what I thought from watching it. That's what I felt.
Yeah, know your worth.
Everyone's happy in the moment until, like, what's that phrase? It's all about like what more can you get? It's all about what more can you get.
The grass is always greener on the other side.
Kind of. It's like, what more can I get out of this? What more can I get out of this? And it's all good until it isn't. Basically, that's just what it is. It's all good until it isn't. And that can be any reason in the book. And that's why Savannah's character is very she's used to it, but she's also, this is like going overboard, having a young rising star just quit out of nowhere. It's like, okay, now our generation's getting a little too, like, they're getting a little too much, going a little too far with this whole, like, woke.
Right.
But yeah, what I get out of it is, everyone just wants what's next. They just care about what's next. They just care about what's next.
Right.
They want as much as they can. They want to take as much as they can. And it's selfish. This industry is so selfish.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to know where you got to have boundaries in this industry. Like you have to have boundaries in a relationship. You have to have boundaries in your work. And that's where Albert, he doesn't have boundaries. He doesn't have boundaries himself. So he's struggling with himself. Don't bring your problems to the work environment, which was like a lot of what I did at the time. I was really stressed out to do that role because it was the first time me and Janaé, like, it was the first time we were working together since the film we will not speak of or whatever. But it was the first time, and we put so much time and effort, and I put so much time and effort and blood, sweat, and tears into that. So,
was there any added anxiety on your part, Janaé, for the actor who plays the famous superhero star, because he had been in this film with Natalie Portman and Joseph Gordon-Levitt? Was there any added anxiety directing someone who's had those kind of experiences when it was your first time directing?
He's such a professional, and he's really a very laid back, easygoing guy that I've known him for I've known him for years upon years. Savannah,
okay, yeah.
He's a friend. And so he's somebody that I can call Devin up and be able, or I could text him, but I can, and then be able to say hey, what's up? And actually we are working together again. So yeah,
nice.
There was no added pressure. I don't, if I looked at it like that, then I would be running from Savannah. Honestly, Savannah has worked with very, well, I won't say, but, directors that are very, very, they can be intimidating if I allowed that to be. But I mainly look at it as am I meeting an expectation that's not an unhealthy one, but am I meeting an expectation of, are we collaborating together, and am I communicating well enough to you? Am I listening to you? And that's a never-ending journey for me as a director, is to be able to listen a little bit better and to be able to communicate a little bit better and have less anxiety while doing so, because that can totally mess everything up. But
you get in your head and forget of everything you've done in the past, not you, but just in general. You could just be forget about all the other people that you've worked with that are huge industry names, and just get so stuck in, okay, you get kind of what is it called, tunnel
vision.
Yeah. So
what's just looking at your experience, because I know you had, this is for Savannah, contracts under Disney, Toon Disney, Nickelodeon, Robert Rodriguez, Rapper the Game. What did you do for Disney and Rodriguez? What were you doing with them? Were you in certain films or projects of theirs?
Yes. Well, Disney. I did. Okay, so Nickelodeon, all that, which was SNL for kids, and that was, I think, my favorite thing I've ever done, because everyone's so welcoming.
Is that still on? Is that a show that's still on?
I think there's a reboot's happening for all
that.
I don't quote me on that.
This was when
it was a popular, very popular show.
Yeah.
All the kids got together.
It was Amanda Bynes left, and so it would alternate her guest starring on her show and all that, and just reoccurring guest star on that. And it was really, that was not so much Amanda Bynes show, but all that, because I actually was part of like the team, and it was really kind of like your own sitcom. It was like SNL. It was just like so cool that you just like, I don't know. It was just amazing. It was amazing. It was just really cool. You have this whole set and you can just like improv, which I love improving. Actually, I don't
So
love
do
it.
I, yeah.
Do it. Yeah, it's you either love it or you hate it, or you
Yeah.
do it without even like, you're not aware that you're even doing it. Like, it just,
Yeah, oh, it's the greatest feeling when it's working. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about Rodriguez? What did you do with Rodriguez?
That's I screen tested for what was that movie called? Spy Kids.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He's
Robert and Savannah, they both, Savannah, from what I've seen when I was growing up, like, again, like, it's always, that's the narrative with Savannah and I, and my outlook is that I saw her work and grow up with all these different people, and, you know, like mention like Amanda Bynes and all that. And it's, and Nickelodeon, Disney, and going on like, you know, the Warner Brothers lot and stuff like that. It was amazing. And with Robert, I do remember with Spy Kids, she screen tested, a good amount. And
it was between me and Alexa at the time. So.
Yes. And then later on, what happened was they went with Alexa. Savannah, though, this is the testament to Savannah. And I hope I don't botch this, Savannah, during her auditions and Robert bringing her back, you know, having her do chemistry reads and, you know, stuff like that with different actors, she actually got like word or got an offer for a student film. And she said, I want to do this too. While she's auditioning for, you know, a Miramax picture, Robert Rodriguez.
An international commercial too.
But she was like, what I took from this was she wasn't just focused on, wow, I'm on monkey bars as I'm reading my lines for Spy Kids to, you know, reenact the whole scene, and they have the whole set up. I actually want to do this really cool student film that speaks to me. That never left her. But then, yeah, so it's amazing. It's a testament to her.
I couldn't do student film because of the dates that Robert was coming back into town. The only dates I could audition for it, or call back for it. And so I had to decline a few offers and an international commercial. And it wasn't until I was on set that another like, I don't know what they're called, but another girl was brought in, like, to, I guess, take over if you know, or Alexa couldn't, like, the third girl, I don't know what they're called, but
back up in case she couldn't perform. Yeah.
And she came up to me and she was like, you look familiar. Are you Savannah Starr? And my name was Starr back then, which was changed. But I'm like, yeah. She's like, your headshot was above the director I just worked for, above his desk. And I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah, that short film that you declined, that you didn't do. I actually ended up doing it. They talked about you a lot. And I was like, what? And that messed with my head, because I was like, wait, what? Because my agent told me, and my mom, they sat me down. I was like crying. I'm like, I want to do this short film about a cat that dies, and it's the kid's best friend, and it's like, so, like, who cares? Like, but I was so invested. I'm like, oh my goodness, I have to do this. Why can't I do both? And my mom's like, look, this is going to be something that you're going to have to handle. Like, you're going to have to pick one or the other. What one is more, like, important to you? I'm like, Spike is obviously. So yeah, I gave it a lot for for the callbacks and for the screen tests and for the meetings and stuff like that. And then later in life, I reached out to Robert, and you know, he was happy that I got back in acting, and we have a video of the film that shall not be named. We actually have a video of me and him rehearsing that together.
And Robert directed it. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Acting out. Speaking of improv, you guys, you know, talked about improv. So Savannah and Robert did this impromptu little and with Robert, a lot of stuff is very impromptu. I mean, let's look at like Machete. You know, it's like, whew. So, but yeah, they definitely did a great job together. Where it's my dialogue, but then the great Savannah with her improv, she veers off, and you hear Robert in the background. He has this very interesting way of how he shot it, just sort of like very raw.
It wasn't so much improv as it was he was kind of, he wanted to know who the character was, so he was just like, who, and I had trouble with the character. I thought she was Jenna Rowland, to like I didn't know who she was. Like,
that's because of me. You had trouble because of me. You didn't have a proper director at the time.
I love to hear that. I love to hear that when you were young, the choice between a student film and Rodriguez was a challenge, because I think I wonder if that makes you really care about what you do, because I think most actors are really caring about, like, oh, well, this is huge, and this is just a quote unquote student film. I'm not saying that that's not important, but in terms of, well, this is going to bring my career up, but perhaps a child will not look at it that way. It's like, well, this is like the game I want to play, or something along those lines. I wonder if that helped you care more about the material you did, Savannah, as an actor.
When I came out of the first audition, I remember so perfectly on Santa Monica Boulevard, was this place that's not there anymore, but I walked in the car and my mom was there, and she's like, how'd it go? I'm like, I'm not getting a call back. No way. For sure. Not getting a call back. We young actors especially get so caught up in their head. And I know back then, you know, we kind of all, it's Hollywood's so small, so you know every kid that's really auditioning with you, like either you live with them at the Oakwood or you see them at auditions, and it's like either that, one or the other. But yeah, no, you get so caught up in the, you know, the staring each other down and like,
right, yeah.
It becomes a game, and you don't take the material seriously anymore. You take the competition seriously.
Yeah.
So someone that grew up as a competitor, and from pageants to dancing, I already knew really what those girls were doing. I've had worse. Hey, Miss America pageant all the way. That is so much worse than any actress you can give me. So yeah, I was very keen on blocking all that out and focusing on the role. And but you know, you don't know really anything. You got to get out of your head. You don't know, like, if you'll get that audition. Every time I stepped out of an audition, I would, you know, my mom or whoever was with me would ask, how was it? Good. And then leave it alone. Let it go.
Right.
Let it go behind me. I'm not going to focus on it again unless you're given instructions like, oh, I want you to focus on this, come back tomorrow. But no, let it go. And if it comes up, it comes up. But yeah, I think it's funny because I was immediately like, nope, it's not gonna happen. It went horribly. And like a year later, you know, I'm screen testing from like over 10, 12 different, you know, meetings, auditions, callbacks. It was something that, you know, I think it's just it's the politics of it all.
Even with all of that, Savannah,
it's like, so it's the politics. My agent at the time, she quit her agency to become my manager to get the extra percentage because she thought, oh, this is going to be my breakout star actress. So she quit, and that messed things up with the negotiations at the time because she just quit my agency and she's making her new company. So it was like, what is going on? Like, why is everyone so keen on just, I would have done that movie for free. If I would have known, I would have done the movie for free. My agent asked for more money for the film. I'm not gonna even say the number.
Are you talking about this is the Spy Kids, or this is
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
This is an example of how greedy people can get and lose focus on the material.
Right, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Especially when there's, like, kids out there who they're not in this for money. I didn't know I was going to get money from this when I was younger. You know, I didn't think about the money. I thought this was my life's goal, like, to be in, not goal, but just this is my dream come true. I'm living my dream.
You hear a lot of stories about, a lot of disturbing, troubling stories about things happening to, like, child actors. Did you experience anything that was, like, extremely troubling, both of you?
Definitely. We have. And
I mean, definitely for me, I didn't have to be acting in order to experience it. I just had to be a 21-year-old writer. Yeah, I mean, I had to be a 21-year-old writer and had
before the Weinstein incident came out too. So this was before, Me Too, before anything, and this was when you were in development with a
producer,
Don Pence-Meehan.
The Anthony Perkins biopic. Yeah, but it's
right.
Like, I just had to be. It's not just. It is child actors. Yes, absolutely. But it's also anybody who looks like they could be prey. And so it really, I certainly was a target many times. But thankfully with our family, we're very good at knowing, oh, you're the predator. Okay, let's get back away here. And our exit strategies.
Predators. You have to have experience with predators to really know.
Yeah. And we had our experience individually and together while just growing up, and outside of the industry, inside of it. And it made us learn to be able to go, no, you do not say yes to going to a producer's house.
Right.
To talk about a script. You don't say that because that person might actually try to come on to you. And
there's so much.
And I don't want to be too vague and make it sound like there's been, horrible stuff where we're, in talk therapy about it. But it is enough stuff to be, I'll speak for myself, to be like, I'm not going to go to a producer's house alone. I'm not going to talk to somebody at night. I'm not going to, if it's a male, if it's a female, I don't care. I really don't care. I need to protect myself. And so not just when it comes to that area, it could be degrading me. It could be my age. It could be, I'll say this one last thing. I've had 2 producers, they said, you know what, let's lock Janaé up in a room and have her just crank out one script after another like a machine. And then what we'll do, the other producer chimed in as a joke. These are all Hollywood jokes. And if you listen closely enough, they try to disguise them as jokes, but they're not jokes. So let's lock her in the room, have her crank out one great script after another. And then the other producer laughed and said, yeah, and then we'll put a plate of liver under the door so she can keep eating. And I was literally standing right here. And I'm like,
that's not even as bad as I thought you were going.
It's not bad. It's because it's not bad, but she was talking about boundaries and boundaries within this industry. Yeah. It's incredibly difficult to create boundaries within this industry. You have to more so, from the perspective that I've always done, is okay, this is my personal boundary that you do not know of necessarily, because it's so freaking hard to enforce it upon the other person when they're going up against you at times, or they want to just cause a fight. with their ego gets bruised. So you kind of have to play in a really different way and kind of go, okay, Doc, all right, but I'm not doing this so I can keep going, or I'm allowing
narcissist.
What?
You gotta manipulate the narcissist,
yes, you have to. You gotta manipulate.
Yeah.
Did these things, when you guys like having these kind of occasions like this come up, what were your parents thinking? Were they thinking, let's pull them out of the industry? Or did that ever come up? Or did you both ever want to stop? Or I'm curious what that felt like.
You know what? It's natural to us. Like, I mean, okay, I'll speak for myself. We're child actors. It's natural. It's not, this is like, you don't know if it's wrong if someone never tells you it's wrong. I mean, all you know is your gut and what you're feeling. And if you're constantly surrounded by a certain environment, then you're going to become adapt to your environment. It's hard because your mom is not always around you.
Right.
The child actor laws or
child labor laws.
Child labor laws are just not laws. It's like a death sentence for children, and not that's. It's actually true though. It's not. It's taken advantage of, and it's just kind of tossed aside. Now I think there's Me Too. After Me Too, there's children too, kids too. So hopefully a lot will change, but it's not just on set. It's behind closed doors. It's offset when you're auditioning or when you're networking or just
meetings. Yeah.
Knowing a director, knowing an actor, dating someone and getting brought into that circle of like Hollywood friends. It's not the movies. And a lot of people come into Hollywood thinking this is the movies. Oh my God, I'm hanging out with a guy from the OC.
Right.
It's not on the OC, sweetie. It's not. It's far from it. It's far from it. So yeah, this is like.
It's really far from it. It's like I know a lot of people say this stuff. Where
do you think it's only been in the last 4 years since Me Too that maybe even the public is starting to get more of an idea of the realities? Yeah.
There's so much more. I believe there's so much stuff that's I can't even say. I can't even tell you the stuff that they every year people do. There's rituals that top executives.
We can't say. Yeah.
Wow.
There's so much that goes into this industry.
It's interesting when you go back and look at oh God, I always forget his name. Corey. He was in the Lost Boys.
Corey Feldman. Yeah. Corey Haim.
That's
Corey
it.
Feldman.
Yeah, that's it. Feldman. Yeah, and you watch him when he spoke out about this maybe 10 years ago, not even, or maybe a little something around that, and people would be getting mad at him, even Barbara Walters. There's that clip where she's like, well, there's going to be kids wanting to get into this industry. How can you say this to them? Just basically accusing him of lying almost, to me. And now that's, I think there's more awareness, at least, that there's these massive problems. So, how do you just fix these things quickly? I don't know. I mean, how do you?
I think for me, I'll speak for myself. And I hope this resonates with anybody, but you can't necessarily fix it.
Right.
Don't try to fix the system. It's inherently broken, and it's always going to be broken. But it's what you can do for yourself. I remember saying to somebody, I was talking to somebody that wasn't in the industry, And I didn't really like the way that they were doing things, communicating to me. And I remember saying to somebody that is in the industry, why should I put up with that when I already put up with it enough in the industry? Why should it creep over in my personal life? And when I said that, though, it did dawn on me, like, you are, Janaé, you're dealing with personalities at the end of the day. It's always the personality that you're dealing with. It's always the ego. It's always the insecurity. It's always the trauma. It's always the whatever comes, this baggage. It's like you're speaking to emotions and you're speaking to memories. As weird and, freaking as like Michelle Gondry as that sounds, it's still like really, really true. Like, I found myself to be in like therapy appointments with freaking producers, and I'm the therapist, but I'm not getting paid. I'm doing spec work. And so it's really true that, like, by the end of the day, what you got to do is you got to keep that guard, and you got to protect yourself and know when to say no to, like, what Savannah has done so many times of going like, I don't care how big or shiny this object is or what you're presenting to me to make it big or shiny. I know how to go about my job. And my job says I say the next move is this. Now, are you on or are you off? Are you in tune or are you tuning out? And directness goes very far, but then you get like bit in the butt.
Right. There's so much fear to say no, right?
It's all difficult. So it's like you kind of just have to play and be like Play-Doh.
And you don't want to get jaded too, and you don't want to feel like, you had people people respond to change when it needs to start from like the center, really. I mean, the mechanics of it all. And as a person, people follow you if you exude a confidence in yourself. If you exude self, like you feel like you can express yourself, and you walk around with that, like I said, my mom had that magnetic, just like, I can talk to this person and they'll understand, they'll understand me, or I want to talk to this person, or this person, like, they make me want to talk to them. There's something about them. That's when those people are the people who know themselves and who have confidence in themselves. And it stems from that, from knowing yourself, knowing what you have, and never settle. And that's something I told Janaé when she was younger, is Janaé, never settle. And it's something that it
stuck with me.
That's good advice.
But it also can be unhealthy. It also can turn into an unhealthy.
It could turn into black and white thinking. Trust me, I know. It can turn into like, wait, if it's not up here, then it's not for me. And it can turn into stubborn thinking.
Did you because I know you have is it a boy or a girl, Savannah?
I have a boy.
If he wants to be an actor, are you going to be okay with it, or what do you think?
It's funny because he is such a showman right now.
He's not even in an acting class or singing. He's never done any classes.
Right.
No, he doesn't. It's weird because he reminds me a
lot. He loves to perform and like that kind of thing. Like he just loves the audience
like, in a baby way.
But he has this magnetic, like his birthday is the same as my mom's birthday. His due date was the same as my mom's. So that was like, wow, really creepy. He exudes a lot of my mom's characteristics, and
that's interesting.
That's this like a very, like, it's like so wise beyond his years. But I was wise beyond my years too. And if I would have like done it differently, I don't know. I'm not going to go back in the past and think of if I done it differently, actually, because that's not very healthy. But I will say, since I have a child now and I can do it differently, I will not be having him as much as he loves it, he is only 4 years old. And I created an account for him, an Instagram account for him when he first started like posing for the camera and taking pictures of himself at 1 year old and like doing routines. And I was like, wait, this kid is a natural. But then it's like, wait, that's not for me. That's not healthy thinking, because I've lived with stage parents, and I know
Right.
how you can also.
They start to see the stars, right? Like, oh, right.
Thankfully, my mom always had my back, and
That's good. Yeah.
I'm very thankful for. But it doesn't mean that everyone around you is going to have your back. Like, they can say, "Oh yeah, we have your back. Your whole team, my whole team can have my back," but then ask for more money from a studio when I'm an unknown actor. And it doesn't make sense, you know? So, and then tell you behind your back, and then tell you like, oh yeah, no, everything's cool. We didn't do anything. We're just waiting for the call. But my kid is he has so much like empathy and so much talent that I'm kind of scared to get him in the industry, because he's just too much. Like, he's Justin Timberlake right now. Justin Timberlake, he goes to school with a suit and tie, and today he went with his little
I love that.
Oh my gosh, man. And his routines, and he does dance steps that I did when I was younger. I don't know how he learns it, but it's just wow, it's amazing. The only thing I will let him in is manage, and that is that poster when Albert basically canceled Susanna, and when he fired Susanna, there's a poster behind him when he tells her, "You're fired," and that's my kid. That's my kid just posing.
Wow.
Yeah, and even in the poster too, it's like like this. It's not. It's like a
right
of him. It's not a photograph or anything.
I put the Instagram on private, and I still get like follows from people that I don't know, like older people. Like, it kind of puts in perspective the fact that this is a dangerous era. It's just not, and especially everything I know in the industry. No, I'm not okay with that. You know, when he is old enough to tell me, like, yeah, I want that. I want this.
I think that's a good way to go about it.
He is not going to get anything until
he can make his own decisions.
Yeah. No,
I have pictures of him on my Instagram when he was a infant, but I don't have anything of him now, because I don't want his face on the internet, and I don't want it, because I know how crazy this industry can get, and if I'm anywhere involved with it, then I can't have him involved until he's old enough to know what he's going to do.
No, I think that's a really, really good way to go. And nowadays they can just download it, take a picture right off Instagram and stuff, and you don't know what they might do with it or whatever, right? So, I think that's the best way to go. Yeah.
It's, privacy, and you are especially when he's just doing it because his own enjoyment. But it's a scary time with social media.
No, definitely.
It's sad too, because I do watch him look at he'll go on YouTube and he'll find all his Justin's concerts. He'll watch him in front of the audience, and he'll watch him talk to the audience and grab the audience's hand, and it's like he reenacts it all, and he wants that so bad, and I see that hunger, and when you're old enough,
he's 4. When the day comes, hey, he just might say I'm gonna be a doctor, and we're like, what?
Yeah.
But it's very entertaining now. It's very entertaining.
It's very unlikely now.
When is the set? Is there any news on the second episode of Managed on when that's going to be shot?
I mean, that's we're ramping up because the holidays are coming swiftly, and the industry is going to be shutting down. But
Right.
we're ramping up in the beginning of the year, and we
Oh,
will
great.
be making, there's like a lot of new developments happening, but it's all positive, and
Great.
all will be announced by the beginning of the year.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
Susanna Feinstein is back, and she's with a new client. The client, I'll I'll tell you what the episode's about.
Sure.
So the client, Susanna, as you know, it's an anthology series to where she has a new client each episode who deals with an existential crisis, and crisis for their uptown problems and privilege and whatnot. So this one is it's another actor, and this actor, he is a method actor, and on the first day of shooting his biopic, he cannot play himself. He's absolutely terrified.
That's hilarious.
And he goes and he says, I can't, you got, like, production has shut down now, and Susanna has to manage production, has to manage a video that he leaked to everybody, to his fans, that makes his image look horrible, and that she has to do damage control on getting all this stuff together while making sure that his ego is being stroked just enough while her ego needs to, because that's a lot of like Albert and Susanna, their egos clashed, but
right.
Kind of like, here, honey, like, here, just take that. Now are you good? And you got to fix. Now are you good? But it would kind of, so that's for episode.
I like it. What's interesting is, from getting to know both of you a little bit, having this web series manages sort of like making more sense as to why this is something that you're both very interested in, because growing up in show business and the need for fame and the need for success and the need for money and the insecurities and only being validated by winning, and now we see that more than ever. So being around that so much, I can see how that is something that you want to explore. Because as I said to you last time, Janaé, there isn't really a lot of, that I can think of, a lot of stories about these sort of current, I suppose you call them trends. So I think it's going to be a great eye-opening series.
It's true too, like what you said. I'll speak for myself, but I'm drawn to it because, look, hey, I'm not a perfect person. I can, this like toxicity that we're all speaking about, and on how, the unhealthy game, so to speak. And, the winning move sometimes is to not play, but then it can be really fun to play. It can be really fun to play.
Really fun to twist it around. And
it can be invigorating. So it can, but that's when if you have the self-awareness of how you have two sides, that can be this person to shut it down or to not even play. And then you have that's more down to earth, authentic, more healthy, I suppose. And then you have another side that's like, if you're going to go there with me, if you want that validation, if you want that fame, that shine, then, there's this, little like revving up the engine, sort of, so to speak, that feels invigorating to say, okay, you want to put liver under the door. I could have come back with something, but I knew in that moment, I don't want to play with these people.
I want to write it down and keep it for later.
Yeah. So it's manage is very much about like all of that stuff of like of this game and how it's so vast, and that there's different areas, like each new client will have a different profession that they're in.
Nobody should be above making fun of themselves.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. Just a couple of things lastly, because we've been talking about a lot of the dark sides of Hollywood today. I'm just curious, sometimes for fun, I like to ask, since you're a filmmaker, writer, Janaé, what are 3 films every writer or filmmaker should see off the top of your head?
She's so bad at this.
I know. I remember last time.
Yeah, thanks, man. I did this last time, and no.
You know what I do? I just let whatever comes.
I know. What was it? So it's 3 films that writer directors should watch, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you're in trouble, Robert.
Savannah's giving you a hint by pointing to Postcards from the Edge.
Postcards from the Edge. I just thought of it.
Mike Nichols.
Yeah, Mike Nichols. There you go. Postcards from the Edge. You know what? Psycho, because we've talked about Anthony Perkins.
Yes.
Before.
Yeah.
That's a solid script. It talks about misdirection, and 30 minutes
I think Goodbye Again actually was more affected you more than Psycho, to be honest, because I've never seen her cry.
Goodbye Again. Yeah.
Oh, the one with him and Ingrid Bergman, right? Oh, I love that.
I don't recommend that movie, and I can say that because all of them have since passed. But I don't rec that for like writer directors. I don't recommend that movie.
No,
I do recommend Ordinary People is a good one.
Oh yeah, that's a great one. Yeah.
Yeah. Running with Scissors is a good adaptation of a book turned into a movie. It has great performances.
Oh yeah.
And you know, if people want to adapt books, there you go. There's one. I hate this question.
What about you, Savannah? For actors,
what about you?
3 films every actor should see. Yeah.
Oh crap! I didn't know it was for actors. I'll take that one.
Oh yeah.
The Others.
I say that because that is when I really truly, when I watched that movie, I really truly learned what it meant to act with your eyes, like act without, like you don't need words to act. You don't need anything but your face, how to work your muscles, how to everything is so. She speaks with her eyes. And I remember you would tell me a lot, Janae. I don't remember this, but you would bring it up a lot. So now I remember it from your memory, I guess. You would say that you would come into my room. I mean, you would come into my room and you would see me watching the others. And you'd be like, why are you watching this movie? It's a scary movie. And I'm like, I was like, well, no. Shh. Watch what she does with her eyes right here.
Watch her eyes, Janae, shh. Watch her eyes. Just watch her eyes. She's saying the whole story with her eyes. And I was like,
that actually gave Janae a little incentive to pick up on that and kind of go from there with your movie. Like it kind of steered you into what you want to do. Like
I like to call it subtle acting. You know, it's you have so many actresses that rely on their.
You're talking about Nicole Kidman in that. Just so okay, yeah.
Nicole Kidman. I mean, it's like that movie out of all movies, or no, not that movie out of all movies, but.
Two more from Savannah.
Long enough, maybe I can just goodness, Candy.
Oh
Candy.
yeah. I quite like that too, actually.
For Heath Ledger, yeah.
That's a really good one.
I think that's an important film because I mean, there's so many different, there's so many different alleys. You go down so many different roads when it comes to like what your character's morals, their character's backstory, your character, and to play a heroin addict is something that's very like it's jarring to most people, and you gotta get past all that. You gotta get past all the exterior talk and fear, whatever, and actually get to the meat of the character, why this is using drugs, why, like that's she did a very good job. And I
really enjoyed. I should see that again. I only saw it once, not long after it came out, so I should revisit that because
it's hard to watch it, but you can tell, like even like he's he really, like, of course he got into the role, but I mean, he knew the importance of making a drug movie not a drug movie. Like, you don't want, like, Requiem for a Dream. I'm sorry. Sorry, Janaé, I know, but I'm gonna say that Requiem for a Dream. I'm not in with all the, like, you know, the over the top, like, fiending, man. Like,
yeah, I didn't care for that one. I find it.
I didn't care for Requiem either. It is, and you know, Train Spotting. People love Train Spotting, but it's what Savannah, I think, is saying, or to kind of echo it with drug movies. We have one in development too, but that was it's to not have this like shine in front of it, but not at the same time not be too raw and go like, okay, this is how, like, Spun is a satire, and it's really, it can mess you up at times. You don't want it to be a horse pill of a film to swallow, and then you also don't want it to be like, oh my gosh, look how funny that was, or cool. Like, you don't. It's a balance, and it comes with just a really good story.
Spun was satirical. Spun was like a mock, like, but it had little pieces of truth in it, and you didn't catch the little pieces of truth because it was so outlandish. It was so out there, and it's important, I think, in any movie.
That's with John Leguizamo, right? I don't think I've seen that. Is that with John? I think I saw just the end. I caught it on TV once. I just saw the end of it once.
It's the type of movie you catch on TV once.
What's I'll leave your last choice, Savannah, as maybe a mutual one between the two of you. What's something that you both love?
What we both agree on. We can do that all day, actually.
The Big Chill.
What was that?
Oh, The Big Chill. Yeah, you mentioned that one last time too, Janaé, I believe.
The Big Chill. The Big Chill. Jurassic Park. Postcards from the Edge.
That's the way to do it. Just spit them out.
Yeah, wishful thinking or drinking. Gosh, Savannah, what you we appreciated like movies like Black Swan together. Even like The Hours together. Jesus is Son together.
Levity.
Get Over It. With Kirsten Dunst.
It's important to know it's Man Loves a Woman. Different like genres, and get that teen film from the early 2000s that like,
lots of those.
No one knows of
Little Black Book.
No one knows of what's his name anymore. What's that guy's name that was in Get Over It? Oh,
nobody knows. Ben Foster.
The dancer.
Oh, Ben Foster, yeah. Oh, he's great.
Everybody knows Ben Foster.
The singer dancer. Oh my gosh.
That dude, yes.
I think I know what you're talking about, but I know the name's not coming to me either.
He's a singer dancer. Anyway, that's how old we are.
I know, but
there's tons of movies that we bonded over that she would tell me, like, hey, this is a really good film, watch it again, and I would watch it again. Magnolia was one that she told me to watch.
Yeah.
And I was like, you got to tell me what the ending is. She's like, I can't tell you that. No. Death Becomes Her is another one. I just thought of Death Becomes Her because Savannah can be very dramatic in life, as Meryl Streep is in that movie. And but yeah.
His name is Cisco.
Awesome.
Cisco. She
there
Googled
it is.
She had to Google it.
I knew it was an S. I'm like,
I thought it was for some reason I wanted to say Shaq.
Great.
But yeah, it's not Shaq. But yeah, all these different genres allowed us the room to go like, hey, let's try to do everything so long as it feels
room for everything.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing the next episode. I was fortunate to be be able to see it, the first one. I know you guys screened it, but like if people want to see the pilot now online, it's not available to be seen.
It's not available online for the public. No, the pilot isn't. But there'll be. You can go over to Instagram, manage series, and then what will be available for the public is a short film that Savannah is going to be in, and it's called Contract Player, and it's with Devin Broshue, Savannah, and Bradley Holzer, and that is in the 1950s. But yeah, that's going to be available early next year. And
okay, cool.
Early next year for episode 2.
Great.
It's called Eat It Up, so everybody please do.
Okay, yeah.
There's a website for Manage that you can go to too.
Okay. I'll leave all the social media links and the link to the website in the description box below. And of course, I'm also looking forward to the Anthony Perkins biopic whenever you can update us about that. I'd love to hear, because I love Perkins. As you said, goodbye.
You'll be the first to know.
Yeah, no, I can't wait. I can't wait for that. And I think everyone is in for a real treat with Manage, because like I said, I really enjoyed the pilot and I can't wait to see the other episodes. So I look forward to that. What did
it say to you? You didn't tell us what it said to you.
What it said to, didn't I? About the self-worth, or maybe I wasn't.
No, I said self-worth. Yeah. Okay, we're double teaming here.
I mean, so much, but I think I think the biggest takeaway for me was, that people are only valuing themselves based on how many Twitter followers they have or how many Instagram followers they have, and they don't, all the things that the actor says. I always call him a child actor. I don't know why. He's like the superhero actor star in this. Everything he says is true in terms of, this is all, he's basically saying that this is not real life, and how this isn't giving anyone self-worth. It's giving them a false look at their own worldview and stuff like that. And the fact that he very quickly, once he sees that you, Savannah, have signed another client, just again, based purely on followers, not on talent, not on anything other than followers, his insecurities and need for validation get the best of him, and he wants to jump right back in. So I think it actually asks more questions, really. It's like,
it leaves it up for interpretation.
Yeah, totally.
That Albert he just suck you in to believe all of this stuff in the beginning, only to be...
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Or did he mean it? Was he having an awakening? And that's stuff that I love.
It's ambiguous in that sense, because you don't know if he he probably somewhat means it, but then when it comes down to it,
really, that's the one thing I love about it, is that it makes you think, and that's something that I always went for when it came to materials. Not that it's so much ambiguous, but that we can walk away with questions, many avenues of interpretation.
And just even the looks on, like, just even things like in terms of show business in general, like I mean, the truth is, like, there's a lot of people who are really talented and can be really famous, but at the end of the day, every one of us is replaceable, so
if we know our worth, though, we're not irreplaceable or whatever. We're not. We gotta know our worth.
Well, I mean, in terms of, in terms of, like, they could fill this, I know what you mean. Like Savannah's character can fill that void of, I need a client. And really that it's looked at, that we don't have to, we can play along with those, like you said, like you could kind of just play along sometimes and understand. You don't have to buy into it and think, well, I'm not valuable because I'm replaceable. But the truth is, from their perspective, and if they're doing a part and you don't want to do it, someone will do it, and that's just the facts of it, So I think it shows that as well, like that you're out, then you're the next guy's in. You know?
Yeah.
So
not to get ahead of yourself, not to get too ahead of yourself too. Yeah. I think that's very true. It's very, very true.
No, absolutely.
And I think Albert may be making an appearance in maybe some more episodes.
Oh, cool.
He definitely is.
Yeah, he was great. Yeah, though that's
Devin Bush will be coming back.
Cool.
We'll see how that character develops.
Yeah,
awesome.
What happened to him after all of
he
that?
should come back with like a long beard and he had an epiphany or something. he went to the desert, you know.
Over here in California.
Yeah, exactly.
He dropped some shrooms and hung out with a friend that gave him a real awakening.
Yeah, there's a lot you could do with him, I think.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much.
Like that happened last night to somebody here in LA, so it's
yeah, exactly. Well, thanks again. I'm glad that you both came on, and Janaé, I'm glad you came on again so soon because I had such a good time the first time. So it's a real pleasure.
Seriously, thank you for including me, Savannah and Robert. I appreciate this, and the fact is, I love my sister so much. I'll end on a corny note because I love my sister very, very much. She is an inspiration to a generation. She is addiction, and she's also somebody that, you know, can drive me up the wall at times, but always brings me down to earth and makes me remember who I am. So that's good to have in anything, and especially in this wild industry, and wonderful to talk about on your podcast too. I don't even know who's watching, but I don't care.
Well, like I said, it's available anytime. I mean, we're live now, but for those of you who wanted to catch it, or you're just watching the end of this now, this is available anytime on the YouTube channel. And eventually will be on the audio version of the podcast. So if you're on the go, there's other episodes that you can listen to, but not everything on the audio version is on the YouTube channel. So head over to the YouTube channel if you want to see more of my reviews and interviews. And
yeah, we're off.
No, not yet.
for having me.
I'm just gonna. No, you're welcome. Thanks so much. I'm glad that you both took the time to come out. And just lastly, for those of you who this is your first time here, please consider subscribing to my channel. It's absolutely free to do so. Again, the channel is really an exploration of storytelling on film, and we look at movies from all over the world and dissect how they were told, from the script to the direction to the editing to the acting and so on and so forth. So please subscribe by pressing you'll see the Robert Bellissimo at the Movies logo just right up here floating above my head to your top left. When I go and edit this later, you'll see it there. Just click on that and then click the bell in order to get a notification every time I release a new video or when I go live. All right. So thanks again, ladies, and we will see everyone in the next episode.